Hey everyone, Nick from ResoNix Sound Solutions here, and we are at Aggieland 2024, Aggieland X I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm doing some more competitor spotlights, this time on our favorite horror movie friend, Michael Myers. What's going on, Mike?
Just hanging out, enjoying the weather. You know, we narrowly avoided a rainstorm, it seemed like.
Cool.
But
so what's your vehicle? What do you got going on in here?
So I have a 2021 Subaru Forester that replaced my previous Subaru Forester. So I had a 2020 model that I had wrecked after the 2020 finals and destroyed that one completely. So I bought another one. So I like that vehicle so much I just bought another one. So
cool. So it looks like, I mean, it's a little dark because we got a crazy difference of sun and inside here, but it looks like you have absolutely nothing going on here. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, so this looks like anyone's Forester. So if you go to the dealership and open up the back, this is kind of what they look like. You know, there's really not much difference. But I intentionally built it that way because I still use it as my daily driver. And this is basically the only vehicle that I drive. And I like to do Subaru things that people, Subaru guys. So anyway, I put my mountain bike in the back and go ride, and
put the kayak breaking down on the side of the road. Okay.
Oil spills,
leaking oil and blowing head gaskets.
I'm not quite there yet. It's only got 50,000 miles. So.
You're overdue.
I know it's coming. It's coming. This one you trade it in. But so I designed it in such a way that I could just put the seats down, put my bike in, and then it doesn't really destroy the sound system. And I'll still have all the cargo capacity to carry all this crap around the shows.
Cool. So what do you got going on in here? What do you actually have going on in here? So I know this isn't it.
Right. So underneath the cover lives two amplifiers. Actually, it's 3 amplifiers, but it looks like 2. So within this heat sink is 2 amplifiers. It's a tungsten grande 4-channel and then a tungsten 2-channel.
Those are True Technologies, right?
Right. Yeah. So these are True Technologies out of California, and it's a pretty cool company because they'll custom build amplifiers to different sound signatures that you might like, custom colors, and it's one of the only amplifier companies that I know that would custom color an amplifier.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that does that.
Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty unique, and so I really like them.
I like the white personally.
Yeah, it's well, really cool. I wanted it to match the vehicle, so plain white. But you can get them in any color. We sold some that are purple. And
I saw the purple ones are sweet.
Yeah, they're very beautiful amplifiers.
So what else is going on down here?
So underneath the amplifiers, so like if you look under the panel.
You can pull it up.
Yeah. So if you look under the panel, the signal comes from the Sony head unit to the PS8 Pro, and then out of the PS8 Pro into the the 4-channel side, 2-channel side.
Okay.
Then the 2-channel there runs the subwoofer, which is a hybrid Claire's 15.
Okay.
2 cubic foot sealed enclosure that occupies where the spare tire used to be, and pretty simple stuff. I mean, it's bolted into like the factory attach points for where the foam blocks.
These are factory mounting points.
Right, yeah. So that used to have like these foam blocks and stuff in there, and it's got like little pins and stuff.
So these are
in those pin holes. I just put like nut certs and then just bolted all that down.
And I mean, in your position, I can't believe I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. You are a professional installer by trade. You and your brother own Sound Factory in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Mike and his brother Chris own Sound Factory in Knoxville, Tennessee. Highly recommended if you're looking for a sound system anywhere from basic to extreme. These guys cover it all. And the reason I bring that up now is, in our industry, it's very important to make everything serviceable, but also do our best to not, cut up a car or drill into a car, stuff like that. And that detail just reminded me. I was like, oh crap!
There's
forgot
some
to bring
people
up Sound Factory.
There's some people that really love to cut up and modify their cars, and I don't think that's a terrible thing, but it's really not my style. I prefer a more factory look and serviceability. That way,
as we can see here, I like the design you have going on too.
So I wanted to use like some of these types of design elements, within it, and then like the orange from there and the interior and stuff like that. So that's why I had those. That. Yeah. So just so you could see some of this and like, oh yeah, it looks similar. It's not the same, but similar.
Yeah, cool. So let's Why don't we close this and move in
Okay.
into the front and see what we got going on. All right. Wow. So,
All right.
just like in the rear, the front is pretty much factory looking. So what's going on in here?
Yeah, I don't have grills on them right now, but all the speakers are in the stock locations. So, but the mid-range and tweeter has been moved to the top of the grill. So the factory grills are here, and normally the speaker lives underneath there. So if you get the base audio package, it's kind of like a tweeter that lives under there. If you get the Harman audio package, then they'll have a coaxial that lives under there.
Ooh,
so it's like a little
upgrade.
yeah. Yeah, so it's like a
Dude, you could have just got that and just not done all this.
just tune it, I'd consider doing something like that. But you could do it comes with a 3.5-inch coaxial there. So but as a lot of people discover when you're using dash locations or any locations that's close to glass, you'll have a frequency at which you'll have a null within that pass band. You know what I mean?
2.5K.
Right. So that happens corresponding with the distance of the driver to the glass.
Yeah.
So the closer you can get the driver to the glass, it pushes that frequency higher and higher.
I was just actually going to ask you, why did you do them on top as opposed to under the grill? And
Right,
you kind of
right.
already answered it before.
Yeah, so like in Toyota Camrys, for instance, if you put them just underneath there and put the grill back on, then typically that null happens somewhere around 1800 or something like that. It's right in the mid-range, you know what I mean?
You're going to notice that.
Moving them to the top helps that.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, it just pushes it higher, you know what I mean? Hopefully out of the passband of the mid and into the tweeter area.
Yeah.
Inversely, that's why the tweeter is further away from the glass. So as you move it further and further away from the glass, it pushes that frequency null down.
Yeah.
So hopefully underneath the tweeter passband.
Yeah.
So that's why it's configured like this.
Yeah.
The mid close, the tweeter further away.
Yeah. Also, probably for installation's sake as well, but I guess it works out
it definitely
both
fits
ways.
there.
Yeah.
Right. It definitely fits there.
And there's also the added benefit, too, of doing it on top of the grill. You don't have a restrictive grill causing issues as well.
Yeah, it has a little more clarity without the grill.
A little more output.
Yeah.
I have a video on our channel of a Dodge Hellcat where we go into the before and after of like under the grill and then no grill, and it's a huge difference, and we ended up cutting the grill because it was a very restrictive grill.
Yeah.
So that one we like made it a point like, let's actually see what's going on here. And we found a pretty significant difference in high frequencies.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you measured it, because I think people know that it happens, but they don't understand to what degree.
You'll never know, and every car, every grill is different.
Yeah.
So what else? What are these? From what I understand, we know you keep things simple, but from what I hear about all this stuff, like you keep things very simple and you do very well with it.
Yeah. So so a lot of the system is parts from other systems that I've had. So like the subwoofer that I have.
Oh, that's
I used in my blue car, my Scion IM. These mid-ranges also come from that car. This is the exact same ones.
We did a video in your Scion years ago.
So
I
I've had this in like 3 different vehicles. So I just keep moving around. They haven't died yet, so
what are
just
they?
Keep going. So the mid-ranges are an Audible Physics RG100 made by a friend of mine in Indonesia named Rishi Gurbani. And
I didn't even realize that's what they were.
Yeah, my friend Tam. I bought them from my friend Tam in Houston.
Yeah.
He's an awesome dude. If you need Audible Physics stuff, he's your guy.
SLA Acoustics?
Yeah.
There you go.
He's awesome. And
nicest guy in the world.
He really is.
Yeah.
Some people say it's me, but that's very untrue. It's absolutely Tam.
It's definitely Tam.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is a nice guy when he's not killing people.
Right, yeah. So Halloween's a no-no. So.
Yeah, Halloween's a no-no. Outside of Halloween, you're pretty nice.
Right, yeah.
That just puts Tam, he's 365 days a year, you're 364 days.
You're right, absolutely. So the tweeter is an SB Acoustics, SB21, and there's a suffix that I don't recall.
SB21. So that's a tiny, tiny tweeter. That's a 3/4 of an inch or 18 millimeters.
Correct. Yeah. So they make a much larger version of it. That's a SB29.
Yeah.
That a lot of people really like in home audio applications. I needed a smaller one to fit in this location. So I also moved to this tweeter for a specific reason, because I was having a weird extra reflection problem on the driver's side with other tweeters. So with a really tall dome, I was getting too much, like from here to ear and then from here to ear. So I wanted a dome that was much flatter. So you get a little less direct.
Get it further away from...
A little less direct and a little more on the reflection side. So
yeah, because these are technically ring radiators and are a little more directional.
Yeah. So that was the reason for using that particular tweeter.
Okay. And
then in the doors are in the factory door locations are a Karma Mobile Audio 6x9.
Okay. The aspects.
Yeah. They're 6.
I use those I installed them for the first. I've tuned plenty of them, but they've been great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Great. We actually recently picked them up and have started, offering them.
Yeah, Adam, and
Phil.
Phil
and John.
Yeah, I keep forgetting John.
Yeah, he's
because I never see him at shows anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Show up no more. John, we're looking for you. Come out. We miss you.
Come back.
Miss you. But those are also designed. You have the RG100s, which are designed by Rishi. The Karmas are also designed by Rishi. So
correct.
And let's be real. He has his hand everywhere. He probably might even have something to do with those tweeters.
Right. So he designs speakers for a lot of different manufacturers. Some car manufacturers, but not as many as like his home audio. Yeah. So he's a speaker engineer and a designer.
And he owns a manufacturing plant as well.
Yeah. And so he designs and manufactures speakers for lots of different home audio companies and some car companies.
Yeah. So what has been the biggest change? So you had a Subaru Forester before this, same car. Yeah. From that Subaru to this Subaru and anywhere in between, what was the biggest change you made or aha moment where something kind of just clicked and took this car or your last car to the next level?
Really, it was probably understanding, I think, the phase relationship between driver pairs better, because before, I didn't really understand it very well. I knew that Linkwitz 24, if you did 24 on this one, 24 on this one, they should sum, and it should be...
And it's in phase.
Yeah, and that should be in phase.
That's been a big one for me, too.
So yes, that is true, but acoustically, so electrically, you might have to use a different filter type to achieve that 24 dB per octave Linkwitz slope acoustically. Yeah. And so that's something that I really didn't understand until I started doing. So in this particular vehicle, the slope between this speaker and this speaker is actually 18 dB per octave.
Just to get that
to measure like a 24 Linkwitz.
Yeah.
So just because the filter is set at something, that is not what the acoustic response is.
Measure it and
so then you have to know. So being able to understand that better, and then having ways to measure and prove, rather than just with your ears, that the phase relationship is better. Because we've always been able to hear it, but you didn't know exactly how to fix it, what I mean, or what to do to fix it.
What the real problem was.
Way too much experimentation that went into trying to fix it.
You're doing timing, you're doing all pass filters, you're flipping polarity.
Different
sprinkling some fairy dust on it.
Yeah, but not really hitting the target always, you know what I mean? So this, using things like the JL Max or Smart or even, REW can measure phase, so there's lots of different ways and methods to measure it, and it makes it vastly easier to make driver pairs match up.
Yeah. I actually do it. I do it a little bit different than a lot of people. I'm going to share a little secret here. I stick to electrical Linkwitz, 24 dB, and I EQ it to match the Linkwitz target. Some people are like, use this so you can. You know what? I have plenty of EQ bands. I'm just going to leave the crossovers what they are, because if I ever need to change them, I don't need to worry about, but the crossover frequency and slope and type are a little bit different, so now it kind of throws everything off. I just leave it at set frequencies, set filter types, and I massage it with EQ. And then, I will occasionally use Smart to verify phase after the fact, but usually I'm dialing it. I was explaining this to someone yesterday. Once you have those, Tam, I was explaining it to.
Yeah.
Once you have those perfect acoustic 24 dB link widths crossovers between two drivers, it's very obvious when things are snapping into phase in time or drifting out of it.
Right, yeah.
And it's you know, I was helping him tune a car that he was working on just yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was trying to, between the mid bass and mid range, like, you know, doing phase and timing stuff. And I was like, no matter what I do, it doesn't really seem to snap in or out of phase. So I'm assuming, you know, I didn't measure anything. We was just going by ear. I was like, I'm just assuming that, you know, your crossovers acoustically are off a little bit. And I told him, I was like, hey, you know, next time you do this, try to actually EQ to match the target of 24 dB link widths and then see what happens.
Yeah.
And I showed him in my customer's car that was here. And, you know, we started messing with phase and timing, and he was like, oh yeah, it's very obvious. I was like, now go do that in your friend's car that you're helping out in.
Yeah.
And it's like not as obvious, and that's probably from, again, having crossovers that aren't actually behaving as proper crossovers.
Yeah, and you have to follow that slope further down than you might realize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like an octave or so.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you're right, that's the exact same thing, but a different method.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yes.
It's different.
It's the
different ways of going
exact
about
same
it.
thing, you know. And people get too stuck on
what the right way
on the
is.
method, you know what I mean, rather than understanding how to get there. You know, so there's several different ways to get there, but that's the same thing.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing. I used to try to sit there and figure out, okay, what crossover type am I using? Do I adjust the point? Do I adjust the slope?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm spending more time as opposed to just hitting it with 3 bands of EQ.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, let's wrap this up in a bit. So before we go, what is one piece of advice you would give to anybody who is interested in coming out to one of these shows for the first time?
You mean like a competitor or just like
anyone?
Okay, so
Anyone, competitor, mom, kid, anyone.
Talk to the people. Don't be shy. I mean, I know this is a hobby of a collection of mostly introverts, which is strange, you know what I mean? But they're all super friendly and all real passionate about the same things that you are. You know, we're all here because of a love for car audio and great sound.
Yeah.
And the music, but
all
all
you
of
gotta
us
do is say hi and introduce yourself.
Absolutely.
And
Just, you know, hi, what's your name? Here's my name. And then, you know,
let me listen to your car.
Show me your car, you know, because everybody wants to show off their car, don't they?
It's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's way less secretive than it used to be. But, but you know, everybody is here for the same stuff. So just go up and introduce yourself. You're going to meet some cool people. Through those conversations, you're going to learn a lot of cool stuff, you know?
All right, Mike, thank you for taking us through your car. I really appreciate it, for breaking the ice here at Aggieland. And I'll actually, you know what? Let me get a demo.
All right, let's do it.
Let me get a demo. I'll see you guys later. Say bye, Mr.
Bye, everyone.
Halloween Killer.